You just found a dollar coin in your cup holder. Looks beat up, scratched, worn down. You toss it back in the jar without a second thought. But what if I told you that certain examples of this coin, even in beaten-up condition, have sold for over $20,000 at auction? And I'm not talking about flawless specimens locked in vaults. I'm talking about normal circulation coins that look just like the ones that might be sitting in your car, your junk drawer, your laundry room change jar. There's one variety from the year 2000 that's been surprising collectors for years. It looks similar to every other Sacagawea dollar at first glance. Same golden color, same basic design. But hidden in plain sight is a minting variation that has turned a small number of these coins into five-figure auction results. And the interesting part? The difference is so subtle that it's easy to overlook. But once you know what to look for, it becomes much more obvious. Before we dive into this fascinating discovery, do me a favor right now. Smash that like button. Subscribe to this channel so you never miss another hidden treasure reveal. And drop a comment below telling me if you've ever found a Sacagawea dollar in your change. You might find this information really useful. Let's jump in. The year 2000 was monumental for American coinage. The U.S. Mint launched the Sacagawea dollar to replace the unpopular Susan B. Anthony dollar. Millions of Americans were curious. Banks ordered them in bulk. Businesses stocked their registers. And for a brief period, dollar coins were everywhere. People used them for vending machines, parking meters, toll booths. Many circulated heavily. Now, here's where it gets interesting. You might pick up a 2000-piece Sacagawea dollar today, and it looks rough. The golden surface is dull. Sacagawea's face shows wear. The eagle on the back has faded details. There are scratches, dings, contact marks all over it. Most people assume it's just worth face value, just another beat-up dollar coin. And that's exactly what the majority of people think when they see one. But collectors? They look deeper. They know that in the rush to produce hundreds of millions of these coins, the Philadelphia Mint created something unusual. A variation so rare that only a tiny fraction of 2000-piece Sacagawea dollars carry it. And when one appears at auction, serious bidding often follows. Here's the variation. It's called the Cheerios dollar. And yes, that's the actual nickname. In the year 2000, General Mills ran a promotion where they inserted 5,500 Sacagawea dollars into specially marked boxes of Cheerios cereal. Families across America opened their breakfast and found a shiny new dollar coin inside. Kids thought it was cool. Many were eventually spent. But here's the twist that took years to fully understand. Those Cheerios dollars weren't struck with the same die as the regular production coins. The tail feathers on the reverse eagle were noticeably different, sharper, more detailed. The die used for the Cheerios promotion was an early prototype pattern die. When the Mint switched to mass production, they modified the design. That means the Cheerios dollars are technically a distinct variety. And of the 5,500 that were distributed, many were spent, lost, or damaged over the years. Now imagine you're holding a 2000-piece Sacagawea dollar that's seen heavy use. Circulated for years, scratched up, tarnished. You can barely make out some details. But if you flip it over and examine the eagle's tail feathers on the reverse, and they appear ultra-sharp and defined compared to a normal Sacagawea dollar, you may have found something significant. A normal 2000p Sacagawea dollar in circulated condition, typically worth face value or slightly more to a collector who needs it for a set. But verified Cheerios dollars in worn, circulated condition, auction records show sales in the $4,000 to $8,000 range, and that's for examples showing heavy wear, for coins that look like they've been through years of circulation. But there's more. A Cheerios dollar in moderately circulated condition, still showing obvious wear but with sharper details visible, sold at auction for $12,500 according to documented sales. $12,500 for a coin that superficially looks like any other dollar. And for those that were kept in better shape, maybe one sat in a drawer for 20 years. Maybe someone put it in a coin album and forgot about it. Well-preserved examples have sold for $25,000. Another one in higher grade brought $34,000 at a major auction house. But here's the really remarkable part. A certified high-grade Cheerios dollar, one that was carefully preserved from the beginning, sold for over $50,000 according to auction records. And the highest documented sale? A top-graded specimen pulled in approximately $75,000. $75,000 for a coin that was originally distributed inside a box of cereal. Now here's the important thing to understand. These high values aren't just for perfect coins. Even heavily circulated examples with significant wear have brought thousands of dollars at auction when authenticated as genuine Cheerios varieties. That's what makes this so interesting for people who search their change. And the difference isn't always immediately obvious. Experts recommend comparing it side by side with a regular 2000p Sacagawea dollar. The key difference is in the eagle's tail feathers on the reverse. On a normal coin, the feathers are less defined, more rounded. On a Cheerios dollar, they're notably sharper and more dramatically detailed. Once you understand what to look for, the difference becomes clearer. So if you have access to Sacagawea dollars, it's worth taking a closer look. Check your change jars, your old coin collections. Sub-13. Anywhere these coins might have ended up, because based on the numbers, there are likely still Cheerios dollars out there in circulation, some showing wear, some overlooked. And according to auction records, they've brought substantial amounts when authenticated. The biggest takeaway here? Condition isn't everything in numismatics. Rarity often matters more. A circulated Cheerios dollar has historically sold for dramatically more than a perfect regular Sacagawea dollar. And that's the knowledge that helps collectors identify potentially valuable finds, so it's worth examining your coins carefully. Compare those tail feathers if you have multiple examples. And remember, that worn, scratched-up dollar coin sitting in your change might be worth investigating further. Past auction results suggest that some of these overlooked coins have brought life-changing amounts to their discoverers. Coin number 2. Picture this. It's 2007, and the U.S. Mint is rolling out a brand new presidential dollar series. James Madison is the 4th president honored. Millions of these coins flood into circulation. Banks hand them out as change, vending machines spit them out. Most people don't even want them. Fast forward to today, and you find one in a desk drawer. It's got edge wear. The surface looks cloudy, maybe even dirty. There are contact marks all over Madison's face. The rim shows signs of circulation damage. At first glance, it's a dollar coin that looks like it's been through a washing machine, a parking lot, and maybe a few years in someone's car. Most people see this coin and think it's worth exactly $1. They'd spend it at a gas station without a second thought. They'd toss it in a coin jar and forget about it forever. But here's where things get interesting. 2007 was the year everything changed in the presidential dollar series. The Mint was rushing to meet massive production demands. New dies were being created. New edge lettering equipment was being calibrated. And in that rush, something went very, very wrong at multiple Mint facilities. Collectors weren't dismissing these coins. They were hunting them. Because they knew that first-year production errors can create numismatic gold. They knew that worn surfaces don't hide every error. They knew that even a circulated James Madison dollar could be hiding a fortune. The error that shocked the coin world? Missing edge lettering. But not just any missing edge lettering. We're talking about a plain edge variant where the entire motto, the date, and the mint mark were completely absent. The edge is smooth as glass, like the coin was never finished. Now, here's what makes this insane. Even heavily circulated examples with scratches, dings, and surface wear have sold at auction for $800 to $1,200. That's right, a coin that looks like it's been carried in someone's pocket for years, showing obvious circulation wear, still commands 4 figures. But wait, there's more. Coins that show actual damage, minor corrosion from being stored improperly, or even clean surfaces have still brought $600 to $900 from collectors who understand the rarity. And then there are the high-grade examples. A James Madison missing edge lettering dollar in near mint condition crossed the auction block for an absolutely jaw-dropping $25,000. Same year, same error, just better preservation. Think about that for a second. The difference between spending $1 at a convenience store and cashing in for enough money to buy a car comes down to looking at the edge of the coin. That's it, the edge. But the James Madison dollar has more tricks up its sleeve. Double edge lettering errors exist where the edge inscription was struck twice, creating overlapping letters. These are rarer than you'd think. A circulated example sold for $1,800. One with visible wear and contact marks still brought $1,500 at a major auction. Then there are the wrong edge lettering varieties. Some Madison dollars were struck with edge lettering intended for other presidents. Imagine finding a James Madison coin with John Adams edge lettering. It sounds impossible, but it happened. And when it did, collectors went crazy. Even a worn, circulated example of this error brought $3,200. Here's what you need to burn into your brain. Condition matters, yes, but with presidential dollar errors, rarity crushes condition every single time. A beat-up, worn-down error coin will demolish a perfect common coin in value. Every single time. Presidential dollars are still out there. They're in change drawers at small businesses. They're in old coin collections people inherited and never examined closely. They're in jars, boxes, and forgotten corners of homes across America. The James Madison dollar teaches us something critical. Never judge a modern coin by its appearance. Never assume circulation wear destroyed the value. Never throw away a presidential dollar without checking the edge first, because what looks like pocket change might actually be a down payment on something that changes your life. Check your presidential dollars. Check the edges. Check them carefully, because somewhere out there, someone is going to find one of these errors in the most unexpected place, and it's going to make their entire year.